Hello soulmates, welcome back to my channel. This is Soul with Pivots. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, thank you. So today we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful overlap 3-layered dress. So you can see how beautiful it's looking. You can decide to make your back as a high neck or an overlap. To make this, I made use of 3 yards of chiffon and then 2 yards of lining. So I'll be cutting with my lining first, then before transferring it into the fabric, because I tried cutting with the fabric but the chalk lines weren't so visible. So let's go. So my fabric is folded into 2. So we're going to take our half cut measurement, which is 13 inches plus 1 inch, 14 inches. For my shoulder, I took my shoulder measurement, which is 12 inches divided by 2, which is 6 inches. So that's what I'll be marking out here. So you can decide to mark 5.5, but I use exactly the 6 because I'll be turning the lining with the main fabric. So the next thing I did is to take my shoulder slope, that's 1/2 inch shoulder slope, and that's what I'm marking out here. From there, I'll take my armhole measurement, which is 6 inches. So I'll connect it like this. Please pardon me, the breeze was too much on this day and I'm making my video outside, so just pardon me, thank you. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my chest measurement, which is 30 inches divided by 4, 7.5 inches plus 1.5 inches. I marked 9 inches. For my waistline, my waist measurement is 28 inches divided by 4 is 7 inches plus 1.5 is 8.5 inches. So I marked it here. And then I'm going to connect it like this. So the next thing I'll do is to take 1/2 inch here, that's from that waistline, and then I'll connect it back towards my center front, that's to avoid bulging at that end. And then I'll connect my armhole. Then we head over to our neckline measurement. Now for the neckline, I want the width to be 3 inches. Then while the back, for the back you can decide to do a high neck or the same neck, and I want to do the same thing. So I'm taking 3.5 inches for my front. So for the back you can decide to come down by 1 inches or 2 inches, but basically I wanted my front and my back measurements to be the same thing. So that's why I did it like this. Then we'll go ahead and cut. So after cutting, I will notch the center point, very important. And then I'm going to open it up so we can now cut our overlap. So this is me marking out that my center. Then from that my center point, I came out by 3.5 inches. So we're going to connect it like this to form our overlap. Remember, I came out by 3.5 inches from the center. We came out by, you can do it any side you want, you understand. So we go ahead and cut, and then this is what we have. So remember, I told you I want to cut my front and my back the same thing. So that means I'll go ahead and duplicate this on my lining. I want 4 pieces for my lining and then 4 pieces for the main fabric. And that is what I went ahead to do here. So I have 4 pieces for each of them. That's 2 for the front and then 2 for the back. Okay. So we're going to take 1 piece of our main fabric and then 1 piece of lining. So we use it to turn the neckline and the sides. So that's for the front. For the back, before we turn with lining, we have to overlap it just like this. And then so that we'll measure the difference, we'll measure what we have in between that space. So you can see me, I'm matching it center to center by that center point. So I'm going to come down by 2 inches for the 2 pieces. I'll come down by 2 inches and then still come down by 2 inches. Then from there I'm going to measure what we have there. So, and I think what we have is about 4 inches. So this is a 4 inches. So I'll go ahead to my main fabric. I'll go ahead to my fabric piece, and then I'm going to cut 4 inches plus 1 inch allowance, 5 inches. So I'm going to be folding this thing. So the width is what, 4 inches. So I'll be folding it into 2. Then meanwhile, for the side, you can just decide to come in by 1/2 inch on the 2 sides, and then you cut it slantly towards that end. Understand? So I went ahead to iron paper steel on it. So I've sewn it, so I'll trim it out and then I'll turn it over. So this is what we have. I'll go ahead and iron it, and then I'll bring my main piece and then I'll fix it at those points. I'll fix it like this and then I'll sew. Fix it and sew. So after fixing it, I'll go ahead and turn it over with my lining piece. Okay, so after doing this, I'll keep it aside and then I'll go over to my the down side. Okay, now for the skirt side, what I did was I minus my gown length from my half cut, and then what I had, I just minus 2 inches. So I made this lining piece 2 inches shorter. Okay, this fabric is on 4 fold and the width is 18 inches on fold. So I'll go ahead and mark that 8.5 inches that we use for our waistline. I'll connect to this 18 inch. So there are actually 2 methods of doing this. You can do it as an A-line or as a flay. So I think I'll drop a link in the description box of the one I did as a flay skirt. So you do whichever one you want. So I'll come up here by 1.5 inches and then we connect. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so I'm notching my center point, and then this is what we have. We have 2 pieces, one for front, one for the back. So let me open it up so that you see what it looks like, and then this is what we have. So the next one we're going to do now is to take the measurement of the layers. You understand? So remember, our gown length is what, 34 inches, while we say our half cut is what, 13 inches. So by the time we subtract 34 from 13, we'll be left with what, 21 inches. So, and you know that this our skirts, will be having it in what, in 3 layers. So what I'll simply do is that 21 inches divided by 3 for the 3 layers. Okay, so we'll be left with what, 7 inches. Okay, so to cut our layers, the first layer will have what, 7 inches, but mind you, we are going to be adding half inches for this one. So I came down by what, 7.5 inches for the first one, and then I'm going to connect it like this. Then the next one, I'm going to come down by what, 7 inches only. 7 inches. Remember our 7 inches. So we are going to what, connect. So we already have our what, our 3 layers. So the next thing for the ruffles, this is what we have. You can see the measurements. For the ruffles layer, remember we use what, 7 inches. So for this ruffle, we're going to be using 7 inches plus 2 inches for allowance. So we'll be using 9 inches. So each of these frills is what, 9 inches in length. And then for the width of each layer, you can see it on the screen for the first, second, and the third. Please remember, we have 2 pieces for each of the layer. The first one we have 2 pieces, the second layer we have 2 pieces, the third one we also have what, 2 pieces. So after cutting, we'll go ahead and run a gather stitch. Then the other end you can decide to fold if you want, but I want to leave. So this is it. I already went ahead to run my gather stitch, and this is what we have. So now I'm going to bring my lining piece. So this is my lining piece, and I'll be fixing the first one like this. I'll fix it like this and then turn it over. I'll fix the second one the same way. I'll place it like this and then stitch and turn it over. And then for the last one, I'm going to be putting it like that, like straight like this, and then we stitch. And then this is what we have after sewing. Okay, so I did this for both the front and the back, and then you can see how we finished it nicely. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to keep it aside, and then we get our upper bodies. Now you can see this is my back bodies. So now we'll bring our front bodice, place it on our back bodice, and then we join it shoulder to shoulder. So this is it. After joining the shoulders, I'll go ahead and then close up my armhole. So let me turn it over. So we'll just go ahead and sew it up like this, and then I'll do so for the two armhole. I've done it, and then let me turn it over so that you see what we have. So this is what we have. So now the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and then overlap it, and then we can stitch it at that point. So I'm going to match it center point to center point. You know, I notched it earlier, so I'm going to stitch here to hold it in place. I'll do so for both the front and the back. So I've done that, and then this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and then fix our skirt part on the upper bodice. So I'll simply bring it like this, and then I'll place it on it like this, and then I'll sew it on the waistline. So, and I've done so for both the front and the back, and then this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to do is to place each of them together like this, and then we'll sew it up by the side. But meanwhile, I want to be adding a zipper on one side. So what I did is I came down by 2 inches. Then from that 2 inches point, I came down with about 7 inches. So I'll simply sew from the armhole to that point, then sew here down. So this opening is where I'll be fixing my zipper. And then the next thing I'll do is to cut my belt. You know, this has a belt. The width of my belt is 4.5 inches, while the length of my belt is 60 inches. So I'll go ahead and fold it into 2, and then we sew it up, and then this is the end result of our gown. Isn't this beautiful? I went ahead to put a pressing button at that point for both the back and the front. For the edges, I'll go ahead and weave it. So let me fix the belt so you see how it. If you enjoyed this tutorial up to this point, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share to your friends and other soulmates. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.